Hey everybody, Trent Zimmer here. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. We talk about all things real estate in Minnesota. We talk about life in Minnesota, and we also sprinkle in some wealth building as well, which is a true passion of mine. And if you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. Today we are going to talk about a topic that is often misunderstood, and that is going to be the difference between the market price, the assessed value, and the appraised value of your home. These three things can be really confusing because it's the same exact property. So why does it have three separate values? So let's talk about this. Okay, the first thing is market value. Kind of easy. Obviously, whatever the market conditions are, whatever a buyer is willing to pay for the property, that is what the market price is. But the other two can be a little bit more complicated. The assessed value is going to be what your taxes are based off of. So if you bought a home for $500,000 and you go and look at your taxes and you notice that the assessed value is $600,000, you likely are overpaying for your taxes. You could go back to your county and say, look, I just bought this house for $500,000 last year and you guys are taxing me based off $600,000. There's a $100,000 discrepancy there and that needs to be adjusted. It won't have a massive impact on your taxes, but it definitely has an impact. So if that is you, go to your county and fight it. They will almost always adjust your tax value. With that said, what we see a lot is a buyer will buy a property, and while they're in the diligence period, they'll do some research, they'll go to the taxes, they'll look at the statement, and they'll go, Trent, is this okay? I just bought this house for $500,000, but in the taxes, it's assessed for $450,000. Am I overpaying for the property? And my response would be no. That's typically how your assessed value looks. The reason the counties want to assess you on a lesser value is because imagine if everybody in the whole county had a value that was either close to or just over their actual price of their property based on market conditions. People would get really upset, right? No one wants to be paying more taxes than they already have to be. So the county will usually play it safe. They'll undervalue the house just slightly. That way, everybody is being taxed on a fair value. Now, your appraised value is going to be a little bit different than your assessed value. Your appraised value comes into play if you're refinancing a property or if you're purchasing a property, or let's just say you want to pull out like a line of credit or something, you're going to have the bank do an appraisal on your home to see what the actual value is. Now, appraiser is going to be looking at more of kind of the first piece, which was the market value, the market data that is accurate to that time period. So if you were to have an appraisal done today, your appraiser is most likely going to go in, look at sales from the last 6 months or so within half a mile, maybe if you're in a high density area, maybe branch out another mile or so if you're not in a high density area. And they're just going to try and get an accurate idea of what your property is worth in today's market. Now, when you're buying a house, the appraised value almost always comes back at the value of the sale. The appraiser is going to do their best to match that value. Sometimes we see an appraised value come back $5,000, $10,000 more than the agreed upon sale price, but it's not unusual to see that come back right at the sale price. So if you're buying a home and you think you got a great deal and the appraisal comes in right at the value of the sale, don't think that you didn't get a great deal. The appraiser is not going to try and go in and give this crazy value on the property. The purpose of an appraisal is to make sure that the asset that the bank is financing you for is actually worth what they're lending you, because that is the bank's collateral, right? When you buy a home and you finance it, the bank technically owns the house, not you. You're just making the payments until it's all paid off, then it becomes yours officially. But if you were to default, the bank needs to know that they have an asset that they can now sell and pay off that debt with. So I hope that helps. It's a really quick rundown of the difference between an assessed value, an appraised value, and a sale price. But if you guys have any questions or maybe I left something out, please leave it in the comments below. I tend to have ADHD. I think really quickly and I skip some stuff. So leave comments below, ask questions. I'll reply as fast as I can. And if there's some other things that are maybe gray or fuzzy in the transaction process or just real estate related, please leave those in the comments because I'm always looking for great content ideas. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Make it a great day. We'll talk to you soon.